Are you deciding between Mario Party Superstars or Jamboree? You've come to the right place. In this video, I'm going to cover the following: the similarities and differences between the gameplay, what kind of games you can expect in both, and who I think this game is good for. Finally, I'll also talk about whether it's worth your money, and I'll give you my personal opinion on which one you should get. Let's begin. First, let's talk about gameplay, and here's similarity number 1, what the game is about. In both Super Mario Jamboree and Mario Superstars, they are both party games that will have you and your friends competing to become the superstar. Both of these games can have 4 people playing all together, and through minigame competitions, you will fight your way to the top to become the superstar. You win in this game by competing in minigames, collecting coins, and exchanging these coins to get stars. Whoever gets the most number of stars wins, and you will then become the superstar. This is pretty much the main idea of the game, but it's slightly more complicated than that. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we discuss the differences between the boards. Similarity number 2, playing online and in person. You can play Mario Party Jamboree and Superstars online or in person with up to 4 friends altogether. If you want to play online, however, you require a Nintendo Switch Online membership. You're able to play with your friends online by creating a private room and inviting your specific friends to play together, or you can also play with strangers where you'll be randomly matched with other people from around the world. When playing online though, each of the people you play with must have their own copy of the game and their own Nintendo Switch console. In both Mario Party Superstars and Jamboree, you can play with up to 4 people all together in person as well. That means that only 1 copy of the game and 1 console is required to play. You will just need 4 Joy-Cons altogether to play with everyone in the same room. Speaking of friends, this brings me to similarity number 3. Who this game is good for. I think either Mario Party Superstars or Jamboree will be a great addition to anyone's Switch library. I think this game is great for those of you who want to host party nights and have a fun and easy but super entertaining game to play with friends. If you have friends who have no experience gaming or have never even held a gaming console in their life, both Mario Party Superstars and Jamboree will be a great game for them. Both games are super beginner friendly, they require no skill whatsoever, and are really just straightforward and easy to pick up games but are not boring at all. There are a variety of mini games within Superstars and Jamboree that will cater to anyone's taste. I have personally played with many different groups of friends, from friends who have never played games before to some serious gamers, and I can guarantee that everyone has really enjoyed playing. All the games are just really silly and chaotic, and it will definitely be a good amount of time spent. Finally, similarity number 4 is the price. Both games go for about 60 euros or USD on the Nintendo eShop. I know this is pricey, but I do think it's worth the money for both. I've personally spent upwards of about 120 hours on each of the games, so I've definitely earned my money back and have had a really good time playing with my friends. Now that you've heard the similarities, let's go on to the differences. The differences between the two games mainly lie within the variety and types of mini-games offered. The first difference between Mario Jamboree and Superstars lies in the number of boards. Let me start by explaining what a board actually is. Think of these boards like Monopoly boards, where you throw a dice and move the number that you get and you land on a space. On these spaces, you can encounter things like a lucky turn that earns you more coins, or an unlucky turn that can cause you to lose coins, or you might come across a shop that allows you to buy little upgrades along the way, things like that. With that being said, Mario Superstars has 5 different boards for you to play on, while Jamboree has 7. This means that Jamboree has a wider variety of environments and challenges for you to explore, while Superstars just has 5. You might be wondering though, how can there be 7 different types of boards, and what does that actually mean? Different boards refer to something like having different lands or environments that you're playing in. These boards also range in difficulty and challenge that affects your gameplay with your friends. On the easier boards, for example, these boards might have less obstacles or less opportunities to sabotage your friends, and so going about collecting coins and converting them into stars to become the superstar is so much more straightforward. On the other hand, the more challenging boards have way more obstacles. For example, there might be times where your right of way might actually be turned so that you're going backwards instead, or the location for you to get your stars will move so that you're constantly chasing after it. The difference between the easy and difficult boards are simply the number of challenges and obstacles you face that will make it easier or harder to be the superstar. So to summarize, Mario Superstars has fewer boards than Jamboree, meaning 2 less environments and obstacles to explore. It is important to note though that both games do not have the same types of boards and that there is completely no overlap between them. The second difference between Mario Jamboree and Superstars is the number of mini-games available and the type of mini-games as well. Let me start by explaining how these mini-games work. Mini-games are played within each game round, and these are short little games that you will play after each player has thrown a dice and gone their turn. These games are very short and usually last about 30 seconds to a minute. Like I mentioned in the similarities, I feel that the minigames are suitable for completely everyone. So if you want to play with friends who have never played any kind of games before, they will be able to participate and enjoy the games as much as your experienced gaming friends. For example, there are some pretty common game types like racing games, and there can also be really silly ones as well, where you have to build a huge snowball and use it to knock your opponents out of the way. Now, the main difference here is that Mario Superstars has about 100 minigames altogether, while Jamboree has 112 minigames. Speaking of different types of minigames, this leads me to difference number 3. The third difference between Mario Jamboree and Superstars is the variety of minigames. Both the minigames in Jamboree and Superstars follow the same formula of games that are straightforward, super easy to pick up, and are all fun and silly all the same. However, I have noticed that Jamboree has slightly longer minigames than what Superstars has. For example, there is a trivia game within Jamboree that involves you answering questions such as which photo is the odd one out, or which of these images would complete the photo that you see. These trivia type games are completely not found in Mario Superstars. Another example of a longer minigame is Yoshi's Race. This is a game that will have you and your friends competing through an obstacle course to get to the end. I found this obstacle course to be a bit longer than what I expected in a typical minigame and was at a length that I didn't see in Superstars. Finally, in Mario Jamboree, there were also more minigames that were motion controlled. This is where you are going to be moving the Joy-Con instead, rather than pressing the buttons like you usually do. For example, there are games where you have to mine a cave by shaking the Joy-Con up and down really fast, or there are games that require you to carefully tilt the Joy-Con left and right to influence where you want your character to go. Mario Superstars did not have any mini-games that required you to control your Joy-Con apart from pressing the buttons as usual to move your characters or participate in the game. Now, let's move on to difference number 4. Mario Jamboree has 2 new elements, Rhythm Kitchen and Motion Island. These 2 elements are entirely new that Mario's Party Superstars does not have. These are 2 different gameplay modes that are found outside of the usual board gameplay in Jamboree. In Rhythm Kitchen, this is an additional area outside of the board games where you can play all sorts of rhythm-related games. You can play these solo with NPCs or up to 4 people altogether. There are also motion-controlled games that go in time with music and rhythm. The type of games you might encounter might be smacking fruits into a parfait by following the beats and hitting the fruits in time with the music, or you might be chopping up vegetables in time with the beat. This is also a cooperative game, so you and your friends will have to work together on this one. These 2 elements are completely unique to Mario Jamboree, and Superstars does not have this at all. Now, let's summarize the similarities and differences, as there were quite a few. The one and only key similarity between Mario Superstars and Jamboree is the core gameplay. You and your friends are working to become the superstar, and you become the superstar by gaining the most number of stars. You gain the stars by exchanging coins, and you get coins by winning in the minigames. The main difference then between the 2 games lie in the number of boards and the minigames available, and the types of minigames that are available. The variety of the boards also influence the difficulty and challenges that you face. Now that we've covered all the similarities and differences, is this game worth the money or not? Well, my short answer is yes, it's definitely worth the $60 no matter which game you get. I believe this game is well worth the money as you're able to play by yourself with the NPCs, so you're not just reliant on your friends, or you're also able to play with any number of friends up to 4 altogether. And you can even rope in NPCs if you don't have the full 4 friends to play the complete board game with. Secondly, the games are well suited for complete beginners and experienced gamers, which ensures a good time all around for everyone. Finally, with the sheer number of minigames and boards available, that means that no 2 game sessions will ever be the same. Each time you pick up this game to play with your friends, you will be guaranteed a different combination of boards and minigames to play, which I think just makes it so unique. Because of the variety and how accessible the minigames are, if you're looking for a party game, I think either Mario Party Superstars or Jamboree will definitely be worth the money. Now we're coming to the end of the video, so it's time to answer the question, which one should you buy? Now that you know the similarities and differences in the game, it seems that Mario Party Jamboree might be the most obvious answer, as for the same price, you're going to get a wider number and variety of games available. I do think that this game is also more value for money, as you definitely do get that extra 12 more mini games and 2 more boards, coupled with the extra Rhythm Kitchen and Motion Island element. All in all, I think you are able to experience more game within Jamboree. My personal opinion, however, as somebody who already owns both, I do feel that the added elements and feature within Mario Party Jamboree do border a little extra. While they are super fun, I do feel that the extra gameplay elements found in the boards can be a little unnecessary and kind of feels a bit like doing too much. Don't get me wrong, it's still super fun and it really does add an element of fun and chaos, but after playing Mario Superstars, it just felt to me that it was a little unnecessary altogether. I felt that I experienced the same amount of fun in Superstars without those extra things that were added in Jamboree. I didn't feel that the added elements and features within Jamboree made the games more fun. With that being said, if you already own Mario Party Superstars, I don't think that you are missing out if you do not purchase Mario Party Jamboree. For me personally, I haven't touched Rhythm Kitchen or Motion Island in Jamboree as there are already a ton of other mini games and boards available. On the other hand, I've definitely played through the 100 mini games and experienced the 5 boards on Superstars over and over again, and I have not felt sick of it just because the combination of mini games and boards always feels so fresh and new. I also feel that Mario Party Superstars just has a more straightforward approach and doesn't feel so overwhelming with all the different game types available. Let's summarize. Talking about it in terms of price, I would say that both Jamboree and Superstars are great options and both are definitely worth the $60. If you're someone who already owns Superstars, don't feel like you're missing out by not purchasing Jamboree, and I personally wouldn't recommend spending an extra $60 unless you are comfortable spending that money. The mini games in Jamboree follow the same formula, and apart from those extra motion control games, I personally don't think it's worth the extra $60 spend, so only purchase the game if you feel completely sick of Superstars and want to try something new. If, however, you want your first Mario Party game, you'll definitely get more bang for your buck by purchasing Jamboree. If you're someone who does feel easily overwhelmed though, especially if you've never played games before, I do feel Superstars will be your safe bet. Both games are fun and manageable, just that Superstars is slightly more straightforward and less overwhelming, while Jamboree has a ton of variety and options that might seem a little intimidating. Coupled with the extra obstacles and features within the boards, it might just seem a little much, but again, it's nothing impossible. Well, I hope this video helps you, and if you like more videos like this, check out my video where I tell you the differences between Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3.